Hey everyone, this is Jared.
And this is Vin.
For once, you actually see our face, but as you can tell, we've got some obsession issues. Today we're going to be talking about all things Scream. We've got all of our memorabilia, some movies, some merchandise, memorabilia, same thing, some cups, good stuff. We're going to be going over a whole list of different items, but without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to cover today is the movies. We're going to talk about each individual movie, 1 through 6, maybe what we think might happen in 7, because it is apparently coming. But we're going to start in chronological order. And Vin, do you want to start with the first movie?
The original Scream. My God. So, me personally, I took way too long to get into this series, and I want to thank you for my crippling obsession.
Yeah. I just have a mild obsession. Like, most of this stuff is mine, except for that one mask there. But that's it. I got a few trinkets, and that's it.
Most of my merch is clothes and big stuff, like the poster and that. So he's got the little knickknacks. I got the stuff that, like the cups and whatnot. So, but for me, it took too long to get into the movies because I was under the impression, I grew up in the 90s. I'm literally born on 1990. So you would figure that it would be perfect, like he's the perfect age to get into. But it took too long because by the time I was able to watch R-rated movies, Scary Movie had come out. And so I saw that before I saw Scream. And I thought Ghostface was a goofy character. And I'm not a huge fan of overly goofy characters. I like a little silliness, but too much silliness kind of, I don't know, I struggle with it. And so I couldn't get into Ghostface, but I always struggled finding a horror icon. The closest I had was Jason, that I could really connect with. And then he introduced me to the proper Scream movies, and I found my icon. Scream 1 is phenomenal. The marketing behind it, you know, Drew Barrymore was front and center. We were just talking about the idea of people coming into the movies for the first time and watching the opening and being like, oh man, go get him, Drew, you got this. You know, she was a very popular actress at the time, probably the most popular out of everybody on that poster. And so the idea was that she was going to be the final girl. For those not in the know, Final Girl is the heroine of the story, the one that makes it out. And then in the first, 10 minutes?
Yeah, she was the first kill. And I think there were some scheduling issues or something,
yeah.
And so they ended up...
But it worked.
It worked. It really drew you into what was fixing to happen. You know what's crazy? So this has only happened in the first movie that I'm aware of. The mask that was used for that first kill was only used in that scene.
Yeah, and then
every other Ghostface scene after that had a different mask.
Yeah. Fun fact: I believe it's
because
the
they
first
ended up,
movie.
Yeah. But
the first movie's mask, I can't remember. It's in the first bit or the rest of the movie has asymmetrical eyes too. One eye is smaller than the other. I believe that's in the first movie.
I know the first one, like the face is really scrunched.
Yeah.
It's really
like squinty. And
then after that, they got in, they tweaked it, and made their own, and elongated it a little bit.
I'm a fan of the newer masks personally.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a really, really, really good movie. We're gonna do spoilers later, but it's super well written. It's a really good whodunit. You're watching.
By this time, you've probably seen all 6 movies, especially if you're watching this.
I do have one buddy. Shout out to my oldest friend Robert Zaragoza, who has not seen these movies yet, but is going to be watching this podcast. So that's the main reason why I don't want to do too many spoilers.
Oh yeah, no spoilers. But more or less, the first movie, it's an icon for most people. It's their favorite.
It's really good. It's really good. You're watching this friend group trying to figure out.
It's a very good whodunit.
Yeah.
It's like Clue.
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of like Clue, but then in each movie after that it's the same formula but a little bit different.
Different people.
It
different
stays. Motives. I don't want to say meta, but it stays
relevant with what's going on
in real time. Yeah.
Yeah, like with specifically not politically, thank God, but more culturally as far as what's going on with the horror movie scene.
Yeah, like at the time when all these movies were coming out, The first Scream movie, we had a couple sequels, but not really.
Yeah.
And at that time, it was like, oh,
slashers were
real big. Yeah. Well, they were starting to fade out, but they were also like, oh, movies, horror movies.
Yeah.
Kind of mess with people and blame the movies, and that was a big thing, which is what they went with.
Yeah.
The second movie, it was sequels are trash, but then they was going over a list of phenomenal sequels, not even necessarily horror ones. They they talk about The Godfather. That's not a horror.
Yeah.
Which Scream 2, we can get into that. Though it was, I don't know, I wouldn't say it was better than the first.
No, I did enjoy it though.
It was good, and it definitely it tied some loose ends.
Mm-hmm.
But
it really worked kind of as a sequel, and I like the connective tissue between that movie's killers, without going into spoilers, and the first movie's killers. If you know, you know. That kind of worked as a sequel. It's without giving spoilers again, but if you think of it, it's almost a paradigm of the Friday the 13th movies, where the Friday the 13th movies, in the first movie the killer is blank, and then the second movie the killer is blank. They flipped it where.
That pretty much, if you've seen Friday the 13th.
Yeah. Again, well,
we're just playing words here.
We're playing words here. Again, we'll get more into the spoilers, but I like that paradigm shift.
But then you get to the third movie, which for a lot of people is the worst.
So,
and in one direction, yes, it is not as good as the.
It's not my favorite.
It's not my favorite either. However, it had some interesting things going on.
Mm-hmm. A lot of criticism of Hollywood culture, which I feel like is relevant now.
Yeah.
The abuse, the abuse that many actors will go through.
Sex for fame and shit like that. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, it also, it was supposed to have 2 killers. Right? Mm-hmm. Without going into spoilers.
Yeah. But I can't. I'm trying to struggle to remember exactly what caused them to cancel that. But you can see remnants of it.
I think it is just money.
And the killer does things in that movie that just don't seem possible for one person to do.
That one had the highest kill count per Ghostface, didn't it? Because of how that ended up.
Yeah. Because for a single Ghostface, that one had the highest kills. For a single Ghostface. But again, because it was only one Ghostface, that's just going to be how that kind of works out.
And we discussed this, me and him discussed this at work a while back. The third movie had the most technologically advanced stuff going on. Stuff that even to this day does not exist.
Yeah, so
we're getting there, but we still haven't got to that limit yet. It's crazy.
What's frustrating is, as a collector, the one thing I'm struggling to find that's satisfactory is a voice changer that makes me sound like
Roger L. Jackson.
Yeah, like proper like Ghostface, like Roger L. Jackson. We've got some decent ones, but we still
most of it's kind of robotic-y.
They'll have voices that have nothing to do with Ghostface, like Alien or Monster.
Like there are AI voices we can give.
Yeah.
But the tone inflection is very monotone. There's not a lot of emotion in the voice.
In the year of our Lord 2024, we somehow still don't have a voice changer like that, and that's crazy.
Yeah, they was on something there. So there goes the third movie. It's a fourth movie.
Okay, I have to say this, if I may. I'm a part of a couple Ghostface groups, and I've learned something. My opinions of the Ghostface franchise do not line up with the rest. Okay? People hate 4. 4 is my favorite. I love 4. I personally sympathize.
You know what's crazy? Out of all, these are all the movies I own. I technically own, with this 6 set here, all of them.
But you don't have a standalone of 4.
I don't have a standalone.
It's hard to get a hold of, isn't it?
It's at Walmart, and my wife started to buy it for me. I told her no.
Why would you do that?
Because I didn't have anywhere to put it at the time.
Oh, wow. Anyway.
I didn't want to have 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and then 4 is just over here somewhere.
Back on topic, if I can die on the hill for this movie, I love this movie. It looks a little like somebody spread Vaseline on the camera, and that's my only gripe about it. But I love the continuation of it. I love how the characters have grown. You know, Courtney Cox and Neve Campbell have aged up enough to make them feel mature, but not to the point
but they're
where
still,
it's like...
they're still young. They're in their early 30s.
Yeah, but they don't look like how are they still doing this? I think the lineage of the characters is really good. It's got some phenomenal kills. The one girl that gets gutted on the bed is just brutal. Especially, a lot of Scream kills are kind of subtle.
Yeah, it seemed like, and it's just skipping ahead just a hair, but 1, 2, and 3, very subtle, kind of sneaky kills. I guess just there at the time they couldn't do a lot of that.
4, 5, and 6.
4, 5, and 6 was brutal.
So, and I have, there's not a lot of Ghostface I have sympathy for where I feel bad for them. One of the Ghostface in this movie I genuinely feel bad for, and when
that particular one got screwed.
Yeah, when they get their comeuppance, I actually feel bad for them. Like, I really did. This is somebody that did this. Their motivations for this was love. It really was, and they were doing what they felt like would
get backstabbed.
Yeah. So, well, again, don't want to get in spoilers, but really, really, really.
Okay.
Fourth film.
Oh yeah. So there's always 2 Ghostface, and there's the mastermind, and then there's the accomplice, right? The 4th one was weird because, like, normally the mastermind, they're doing equal amount of work, and the accomplice actually does usually less.
Well,
but this one, it was so weird because the mastermind basically did nothing.
And again, another reason why I love this movie, and I'll discuss this more when we talk about spoilers, but another reason why I love this movie is because this really touches on a subject that I'm very passionate about in real life, and I'll talk about it more in spoilers, but I really, really do enjoy the thought process behind that particular Ghostface and the toxicity of that specific Ghostface. So I'll get more into that later.
That's more of a personal thing. I don't affiliate with that.
We'll see.
Anyway, okay, so moving on to the 5th movie.
5th movie, man.
Movie.
What a comeback!
Yeah, so
what a comeback!
There was I wouldn't say a decade, but just close to a decade gap between 4 and 5. New studio and everything, and 5 just said, you know what? Let's get what we got here. Let's introduce some new people, new storyline with some of the OGs, because everybody knows, and everybody, it don't matter what movie you're watching at this point. This is the era of legacy characters coming back, right?
Before we get too deep into the actual story of 5 itself.
Well, I'm not gonna just hold on. And 5, they basically said, let's dial up the gore, let's dial up the kills. And instead of just doing subtle kills off screen where you know what's happening but you don't see it, you see the damage. Mm-hmm. They show everything.
Well, and this is around the time that we were getting a lot of legacy sequels. Star Wars had done its thing. Halloween Kills. The new Halloween trilogy had done its thing. And so, hell, even Texas Chainsaw Massacre had a legacy sequel.
So this was just that time
So this was the time to commentate on that. But I do...
Millennial appeasement.
Yes, I do want to say, though, the people behind these 5 and 6. Radio Silence is their name. They started out with the VHS series. Yes. And then they started doing their own projects. They're phenomenal. Their movie Ready or Not with Samara Weaving, phenomenal movie, as well as their latest independent movie, Abigail, was also surprisingly good.
Yeah.
Radio Silence has this thing about...
Wait, did Radio Silence do Abigail?
Yeah, they did. They did.
Okay.
And with Melissa Barrera, in fact. But Radio Silence is 2 dudes. They're passionate. They're not afraid to go bonkers. Their staple in their series happens to be people exploding into bloody messes. So they're really good with working with gore and blood effects. And they're very, very, very talented people. And I really was so super happy personally when I heard that they were taking over the Scream franchise. Some of my favorite modern day horror directors directing follow-up to one of my favorite long-running movie series. is just a match made in heaven. I think they did a great job. I'm sad that some things happened behind the scenes that put their time with the Scream series to an end. But for what those 2 movies they put out were just absolutely just bangers. And anybody who doesn't like those movies is nitpicky as heck. Like, they're just really, really, really well put together movies, and they had so much great potential.
Yeah, we're not going to go into the drama behind the scenes. That's something else.
Yeah, that's a touchy subject.
As a Scream series, they did great. They brought it back. They brought it back correct. Scream, not only Radio Silence, but Radio Silence, Paramount. They both together. They just did phenomenal. Yeah. So 5 and 6.
6. I love 6. So like, so Scream.
6 did something that
6 is my 3rd favorite movie.
Yeah, 6. Well, 6 did something, and this is not really a spoiler.
Something different.
It's something different. So, 1, if you've seen the posters, it's in a brand new location.
Opposite side of the country.
Opposite side. They've always taken place in California.
Woodsboro, California.
Well, no, 1 took place in Hollywood. 3 took place in Hollywood.
Oh yeah.
But this one took place in New York. So across the country. Weird. Second thing, they've always had 2 killers. This one had 3.
Yeah. Well, not always. They had 1 killer.
Well, they have 1, but it's supposed to be 2. Blah blah blah. This one had 3. And then the third thing, these were killers where, or at least 2 of them, you went,
what?
Most of the twists were fairly predictable, but it was still enjoyable. This one had twists. I was like, wait a minute, huh?
I remember up to the point where they revealed Ghostface, I was completely betting on a legacy character being the Ghostface character. And they really set that up. And no. But, honestly,
6 had some curveballs.
6 was great. Some of the goriest kills. The first time a Ghostface
used a shotgun.
Used the shotgun. I was gonna say. The introduction of a now iconic move. You take the original iconic move, the knife swipe. Now you got the double knife swipe. I love the double knife swipe.
Or 2
Ghostface knife swipe at the same time. And just
intimidation, and they again, it's in the trailers. They had their own shrine.
Yes,
they had their own shrine. They had the aged Ghostface.
This has now become iconic because they took the Ghostface
creepy as hell.
They took the Ghostface masks from previous killers, and before you ask how, there is an actually explanation why.
We'll get to that.
And they when they left their kills, they left a previous killer's Ghostface mask at the scene of crime as a message. So yeah, no, I love it. I absolutely love it. I had so much fun. It was you. It was
the first Scream movie that we actually seen in theaters.
Yeah, it was you,
out of all 6
me, and my
of these
fiance
things for 20 plus 30 years.
Yeah.
It started in 1996.
Yeah.
And
96.
Yeah. And
96.
Yeah. It started in 1996, and then 6 was made in what, 2022? Or is it 20? No, it's 3. It's 23.
No, 22.
Was it? I thought 5 was 2022.
No, 5 is 2022. You're right. 2023.
Yeah, 2023 was 6. So anyway, huge span of time for these movies, and it just you could tell that this was the conclusion. Now they're making the 7. And there's a lot of ups and downs of that we'll get to later. But I don't know how well it's going to work because they made 6 end in such a way that was just like, that's perfect.
See, and that's my biggest concern.
This is great because it brought all of them together. You know, it brought everything together, had all the original stuff together. And now it's like,
see, here's my problem too. Like
too many movies of a sequel.
All the Scream movies have been very consistent. Very consistent. A lot of horror movies have alternate timelines and reboots. And no, this Scream from 1 to 6 has been one single, solid, all the way through, interconnected story.
We haven't had a Ghostface in space. No. We haven't had
a reboot or
it's always been the same.
One solid story. I'm so scared. I want Scream 7 to be good. I'm glad that
now they're bringing Neve Campbell back.
But that could be anything.
It could be anything, but they're still trying to stick with the formula that they've had, where it's all one continuous
solid storyline. We do not need a reboot. We do not need a refresh. We don't need to ignore 5 and 6. I hate that idea of ignoring.
We're going to go into fandom now, because this is going to tie in. From what I understand, they're not ignoring 5 and 6. There's going to be mentions.
Okay.
Because there is a Scream TV series coming out.
Another one.
Not the MTV one, which personally, you haven't seen it. I like this MTV Scream. The first 2 seasons. The 3rd season, which has these masks, because the first 2 is completely different character, completely different storyline, place, everything. It was
goofy as hell.
Yeah, it was different. But the kills in that series were amazing. You literally see one guy get chopped in half by a chainsaw from vertically, and you see everything.
That seems silly.
No, it's great. It's great. You just have to trust me on this.
It's not a very Ghostface thing.
Well, he had it. Whatever.
See, random.
But anyway, the first 2, even though it's its own storyline, and even though it's not this version of Scream, it's still a version that was horrific and great. Except for Season 3. Season 3, they said, oh yeah, here we go. Let's put in the OG Ghostface. Let's have some characters in here that we don't know who here. Let's do a Season 3 with, I think it had like 10 episodes. And we're going to just shove all of this backstory on each one of these characters in 10 episodes.
I've heard most people say Season 3 is their favorite. But
no, Season 3 is the worst one because it goes... Because it took place where normally all these other ones took place in Woodsboro. This one took place in a place called Lakewood. So Lakewood, Woodsboro.
See, that's why people like it.
Season 1, Season 2, Season 3 is like location, completely... Season 3 had nothing to do with the first 2 seasons.
But it had everything to do with the movies.
It had nothing to do with the movies either.
It's in Woodsboro and it's got Ghostface in it.
I say it's in Woodsboro. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, well. Anyway, well, let's just...
But Season 3 had nothing to do with the first 2 seasons.
Burn the TV series in the ash. I don't care.
At least that the first 2 was great. I love the first 2.
I can't. I struggle.
You haven't even seen it. You don't know.
I know, because it's not Ghostface. Alright, that's a good segue.
They don't even call him Ghostface.
That's a good segue into fandom, and
it's always someone telling, bitch, shut up. That's all fandom is.
So, I some of our personal experiences is a great example of how to talk about fandom. So, I've seen 2 sides of the fandom, if I may. So, we were briefly on a Facebook group called the Cult of Ghostface.
Oh yeah.
We had to leave that group because there were two issues. One, moderation was atrocious. Some posts would get approved in
I didn't have any issue,
minutes,
but for some reason he had struggled.
And I don't know why.
And he's more of a fan than I am.
Yeah, exactly. But not just that. It was a thirst trap. Like there's the side of Ghostface that turns, for lack of better words, Ghostface into a sex symbol. And I know that's and on both sides. You're thinking, oh, women wearing Ghostface masks and lingerie. Yeah, that's a thing.
And don't get me wrong. Kinky Ghostface is sick.
So the second ever post I ever saw in this group was a completely naked dude wearing one Ghostface mask and covering his dick with the other Ghostface mask.
Yeah.
No, that's okay, cool. Power to you. If you and your girl like to dress up as Ghostface and rail each other in your bedroom, fine, whatever. I don't care.
It's it's not something. It's something you keep private. It's not something you promote on social media
or make it what that page is before people come into the page expecting one thing. Make it apparent that that's what that page is.
You could literally call it sexy Ghostface fan.
And I would be like, yeah, that's what that is. No, thank you. Go on.
But yeah, the cult of Ghostface. You're thinking like something like this, with shrines and memorabilia and this obsession, and it wasn't.
But I found a new one.
Yeah.
Ghostface and Scream enthusiasts, that's a lot better. Again, we're talking fan theories, merchandise collecting. a lot of mask collecting. That's fun to watch. I'm not big on collecting a whole bunch of masks.
And we don't even have, like, this is nothing compared to some people.
These people
which
are
is,
spending...
props to you, that's phenomenal.
These people are spending $9,000 on masks.
Mm-mm.
Like, these people are dedicated. And I see, that is much more enjoyable to watch and sit back and interact with. That's my favorite side of the fandom, personally. I love these merchandise collectors. I'm into that shit.
Yeah, that's fun.
I am into collecting merch.
And so you're working on getting a mannequin with a full, because you have the 25th anniversary cloak with, lucky asshole. and then, of course, you know, these nice, because that's nothing. Before we move on to the next topic, no, I'll wait, never mind. But yeah, they just...
I like that. You know, I like the idea.
Fandom is so
in everything.
good, but it has its moment. Just gotta look around.
That's what Scream 5 discussed. You know, being a fan is not bad. It's when you let that obsession take you. You know, at the end of the day, none of this belongs to us.
I think the only Scream, and even in the movies themselves, the only Ghostface that really just went, what the fuck is that? Was in, I want to say it was either the 5th or 6th movie, I can't remember. It was one of the stab movies inside the movies, where it was a silver-faced Ghostface with a flamethrower.
Yeah.
The idea, oh, that's cool. But it looks like something that'd be more like in Dead by Daylight than it would an actual Scream movie. But I get where they was going at, because they even discussed it, where they was talking about how the sequels are just getting ridiculous. They even talked about it in the movie itself.
What's funny is the Scream movies...
Which is great. They're so in touch with how we as fans think.
Yeah. And what's funny is the Scream movies themselves don't get ridiculous, but they are talking about other franchises that their movies get ridiculous.
Yeah, they kind of poke fun at real life things using their own... It is so inside of itself.
But the thing I was going to say is, we as fans have to remember that none of this belongs to us. You know, we can buy, you know, all the merchandise and show our love for the character.
Yeah, exactly.
But this belongs to Fun World and the people that created Ghostface and the people that created the original movie. This is Wes's baby, and this is Fun World's baby. And we need to understand that, you know, at the end of the day, you know, we can love these things, but we shouldn't be so of our own selves that we think we know better. Sometimes we just have to be willing to embrace what we have, you know, accept the hiccup here and there, and just move on.
Nothing's perfect, but out of all the different horror franchises, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween...
These guys are close.
Friday the 13th.
Very consistent.
These guys are, Nightmare on Elm Street was one of my favorite horror movies for a long time. Because Freddy was just a phenomenal killer. I like killers who mock their victims and mess with their head. That's what I do with my own character. And Ghostface does that, which is why I like him. But Ghostface also knows when to be serious, which is also good.
He's a good mix between taunt and silent killer.
Yeah. Freddy, he had some very creative kills throughout his movies, but they were so fantastical and... Which I get, it's in a dream world, blah, 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 but it just kind of, it got so ridiculous after like the third movie that I'm like, I get it, but now you're just getting a stretch. Same with Friday the 13th. Phenomenal movies, but then it just started getting weird.
You know, a good example, you know, all these all those killers are like crazy where you see them and you're like, oh my god, but you know, one kill that always sticks with me from Ghostface that just like you feel is when he, in 5, he's got the character of Wes, not the director, pinned against a door, and he slowly drives the knife through his neck, and it's not even a perfect stab, it's off to the side a little bit. That's scary. Because I'll tell you, because that's something that you as a person
you could feel
could experience. I can't experience being lifted in the air and
so
or dragged into a bed or be, you know, have someone huck a chainsaw at me. Not honestly, probably not. But that's.
And see, that's the thing. You have this, I guess, tweak in your brain where when you see somebody getting hurt like that, like those videos you see of people like doing trapeze and whatever, and they break their legs and you see the bone.
Sympathy pains.
Yeah, you have really like, I can't watch that. Mm-hmm. With me, I'm sitting there going, I'm just a weird nerd, I guess. I'm sitting there going, damn, I wonder what part of the leg that was. Oh, that had to... I'm fascinated by it. I'm sitting here watching it over and over, just trying to analyze how it happened and why it happened, and you're over here like, nope, I'm good.
Ow!
So I watched these movies, specifically 5 and 6, because they were the only ones that really push those lines.
Yeah.
Where, 5, the knife goes through their hand and you see it go all the way through. And I'm sitting there going, oh, that's awesome. He's over here going...
I'm like, oh, God.
I love it.
But yeah.
Moving on, though, going to cultural impact.
I mean,
which we've touched on.
We've touched on, that's kind of connected to fandom.
But there's specific something I wanted to talk about.
So the icon of Halloween.
Well, not just that. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
The inspiration.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to let you cover. This is when you're allowed to go on your tangent because you know the history of the Ghostface mask and everything a lot better than me. So I'm going to sit back. I'm going to let you do your thing.
I don't know what that was for.
He's got problems, folks.
I do. So, this whole franchise is a creation of Wes Craven. And they took a while. They had a bunch of different masks. They was trying to design them and everything. And most of them had teeth, and it was like almost like zombie looking stuff. You can look this up on YouTube. And then it ended up just being fine. They found the original mask, which was in that first kill scene in the first movie, and it was called the I think it was called the Bean Eye Killer or something like that. Because the eyes look like jelly beans or something. And so they're like, hey, let's get this, and they altered it. But the actual origins, the inspiration of the movies themselves came from something real, the Gainesville Ripper, which killed a bunch of people, I believe it was in California. So most horror movies do have inspiration from real life. This one has loosely based off the Gainesville Ripper. I'm not going to go into the whole backstory of what he was, but if you're interested, look it up. But yeah, like, to think the cultural impact, that an actual serial killer had made into a movie, and now people are just fanning over something, and most people don't realize that it's based off something that actually happened. The same with, like with my character, is based similar to the Zodiac Killer, an actual serial killer that, again, took place in California. California
has problems. Oh, you can't get political.
Yeah, well, I mean, all states do, but California does have. They are known. They've had a lot of different serial killers. But the Zodiac Killer was known for messing with people. It's intentionally went to social media and sent puzzles for them to figure out. Like, he wanted to be caught and then just didn't. And it's kind of like with Ghostface. He didn't really try to hide himself when it comes to his character. Like, he's just like, here I am. Good luck. Come find me,
Good amount of kills in just open public,
Yeah, especially in the 6th movie where he just walks right into the grocery store and then takes them out too. Like, heck, why not?
You're in the way.
You were in the way, so you were part of the problem, And it's like, whoa, that was the first time he really done that too. Mm-hmm. Usually he was very sneaky and, tried to hide and only took out who he needed to take out.
Well, I think
this one, he didn't give a damn.
Well, I think that also has to do with the person who was wearing the Ghostface cloak at that particular time, which we'll discuss in our list of Ghostface. But there was a reason why he was able to do what he did. So
yeah. But one of the things that Ghostface and the Scream series have done was, and you'll see this everywhere if you're buying memorabilia and stuff, it says the icon of Halloween on it. Ghostface, the icon of Halloween. I'm sure we got something here that says it.
It's on a couple of my shirts. Mostly the tags.
But that don't really make any sense.
No. And I think that's just a trademark thing.
Yeah.
I saw a poll on YouTube the other day that asked, that very question, Ghostface is called the icon of Halloween, but everybody, but Michael Myers, his movie is literally Halloween. He's been around longer.
Been around since 1974.
Yeah. So, like, and honestly, by a good margin, I think it was like 96% to like something, everyone voted Michael. The first time I saw that, I remember I messaged you, I was like, wait, Ghostface is the icon of Halloween? I don't know about that. But then I think, when I go out at night trick-or-treating with my kids, you know who I see around more than Michael? Ghostface. There's even now, more people dress as Ghostface, and so I think there's some validity to that.
I get why they done it.
I almost guarantee that more Ghostface costumes and memorabilia sell then
Ghostface has, because the only thing you're going to get with Michael is the mask. Maybe a blue jumpsuit if you're lucky.
Well, we're counting shirts and stuff with the you know.
There's really not, because Michael is not a very public.
He's not a very marketable character. Is
Yeah,
the problem, because he's a blank slate.
But
I don't know. Again,
that's Michael.
See, and here's why back on topic. Here's why Ghostface is so marketable. Here's the biggest reason why Ghostface is so marketable.
He's fluid.
No, well, kinda. Where there's only one Jason, there's only one Michael, there's only one Freddy. Anybody can be Ghostface. Literally anybody. Anybody. Male, female, young, old, it doesn't matter. You got a problem, you throw on the mask, you solve that problem.
Yeah.
That's what makes Ghostface so marketable. It's just, if you want to be Ghostface, you can be, it doesn't matter how big, small, skinny, big, anybody can be Ghostface.
That being said, we are not promoting the idea of you throwing on a Ghostface costume and making this movie real.
He is not promoting. I am real life Richie Kirsch.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Don't go kill anybody.
I'm joking.
Make all the fan films you want. Make them good though. Be honorable.
Please make them good. Don't be.
But don't actually kill anybody with this mask because it could ruin the franchise.
Or don't get caught. Sorry, I'm joking. I'm joking. I have a dark sense of humor.
Right. Anyway.
And the podcast was struck down.
Anyway, moving on to memorabilia.
Okay, memorabilia.
All of this nonsense.
All of this nonsense. So
he went over this a little bit in the beginning. He's more of a t-shirt and clothing items guy. I like it, but I'm more of a figurines and knickknacks, things that I can, you know, make a shrine out of. Not a worshipping shrine, just a, hey, I really like this. My Back to the Future shrine is a whole lot better than this.
I disagree.
I have 2 shelves of Back to the Future stuff. I've only got 1 shelf of this.
Oh, well, then you need to step your game up. And then me...
well, give me... Hey, Lego. I want a Lego Ghostface.
That'd be cool. A full-sized?
Just a mask.
That'd take forever.
Or at least a figure or something. Something about this size, I think. I've got a Lego DeLorean. I want a Lego Ghostface. There are no horror Legos.
No, because you can't market that to kids. Why is your phone on? I put mine on silent.
That was a ding of greatness.
Sure.
I had a good idea.
You
That
had
was
a good
light
idea.
bulb.
Anyway, so yeah, I have this thing for t-shirts. I collect like band shirts as well, but t-shirts, hoodies. I've got some knickknacks. My son bought this amazing blanket, which kind of looks cool with the sunlight behind it.
Yeah.
You know, I got the cups because I like things that I can practically use every day. If it sits on a shelf and gathers dust, I can't use it. But with t-shirts, blankets, cups, and things like that, I can use them every day. The closest thing I have that I can't use every day, unless I wanted to go to jail, is my 25th anniversary cloak, which, haha, suck it.
Hey, you said you was going to get me one.
I will.
So, going into some of these locations that you get to, there's really only a handful of locations you can get it. You can get some of this stuff at Spirit Halloween when they're open.
Spirit, I spent $200 at Spirit.
I haven't even been to Spirit Halloween for that reason. Some of these other things, I think a lot of these shirts either come from Hot Topic. Spencer's is really big into the Ghostface.
Spencer's, Hot Topic, a little bit of FYE.
A little bit of FYE. The 6 movie thing, I want to say I got that at Walmart.
There is one thing I have.
The masks. Walmart.
The best masks I've found were at Walmart.
Crazy.
Not anywhere else. Not anywhere. Walmart had the best. Oh God, why is that hard to say? The best masks this year.
Because they're not that hard plastic. It's almost like a
rubbery,
silicone rubber.
But they have their own dedicated hood that's matte black. So when you wear the hood of whatever else, what the cloak you're wearing,
it's flushed,
it blends in together. It's the only thing that's weird about them is they have little dog ears on them. Because if you wanted to wear it on its own, you have. But you can tie those behind it, and it just looks absolutely perfect. Best masks, absolutely awesome.
Oh, and they have been. They've been praised. They have been praised.
Now we can do a little cut, but I want to. This is of all my Ghostface stuff. This is my pride and joy, and I'll tell you why. So, most of this stuff is really easy to get a hold of if you look. This was so hard to get a hold of that I had to have my uncle on the other side of the country purchase it because it was only available where he was at and ship it to me. This is from a store I've never fucking heard of called Primark. They don't do online shipping. And so you have to go into the store. This thing is so good quality. The vinyl is clean. The hoodie itself is clean. It fits.
It says Ghostface
perfectly. It says Ghostface on the arm, and it has a embroidered, stitched into the fabric, little Ghostface in the center thing. If you have a way of getting a hold of a Primark, this is the best hoodie I've ever seen, period, as far as Ghostface hoodies.
It's simple, small on the front, big on the back. As most horror is done, most horror movies have some kind of metal music or something, or heavy,
so
hard rock music.
spiderweb metalcore.
Yeah, so that it fits. It's not legible, but it fits.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like about it is I feel like, because I don't know, it's backwards. I would have had it rotated so that when I hold it up like this, you can read it like this.
It's where you can see it.
I'd have to hold it like this to read, but that's whatever. It's really nice, and it's comfortable. It's a good quality. It's got the double stitch in the hood instead of the single down the center. It looks great with the Ghostface mask. Absolutely love that thing. That thing's my pride and joy.
Continuing on.
Shout out to my uncle, Drew Saunders. Thank you.
One thing on the table here. I got the backpack from Spencer. I got the backpack from FYE.
FYE? Spencer's has some too.
Yeah. This is a purse backpack. I got this cup actually at a haunted house. The haunted house I worked at, someone made it. The movies, I got all the movies from Walmart. The figurine I got from Walmart. The bobblehead I got from Walmart. Most of this shit I got from Walmart. What the heck?
Walmart has some pretty good shit. Half of our shirts are from Walmart.
Now, most people know, and you'll see this everywhere, where you'll see a Ghostface with like a big kitchen knife or a chef's knife. Not accurate. He never uses a chef knife.
Like that knife? That's not accurate.
No, that one isn't accurate.
No, that's not with the tang on, or the...
Oh, yeah, that one's not accurate. But anyway, Ghostface uses 2 knives, unless he's using a gun. He uses either a buck 119 or a buck 120. Mostly a buck 120 because the blade is bigger. I have an actual buck 119. I want a buck 120.
They're $100.
But yeah, they're over $100 for this one. You can get it at Walmart for like $80. Not ducks.
80 ducks?
80 ducks.
How are you gonna get on?
It's quackers.
We gotta go to Big Spring Park and now collect 80
But yeah,
ducks.
if you want to not spend a whole lot of money but actually have a real knife that was used in the movie, go to Walmart, spend your $80, get you a buck 119. The only difference is the blade is a little bit shorter.
Side note,
and it's legal to carry.
Side note,
buck 120 is not.
If you don't want something,
depending on where you live.
If you don't want something that's real, but you want something that looks authentic, this year only. It wasn't available last year, and I don't know where we're going to be next year. But this year, 2024, they have a plastic replica that is actually, I don't have it on me, a plastic replica that is shiny, looks like an actual knife.
Go get it.
Great for pictures.
We're going to do a quick cut right here where he goes.
So this, Spirit Halloween. Okay, last year when I went, there was your typical blood one that was the wrong shape, and a matte gray. This thing, reflective, looks like a knife in pictures. Is the actual size.
It might be a little bit too reflective, but
an actual size of a buck 120.
Just to give you the idea of the difference. So this is the buck 119, and this is a loose model of a buck 120.
I mean, it's not even loose. It's down to the handle. Like, it's really
yeah, you can
accurate.
See, and you can see, what's real and what's not. But
like, it's not going to get you shot.
This one is
it shouldn't get you shot,
right? Where this one's, it's a little smaller. Okay.
But this is.
So you can see the real versus the prop.
Yeah. So I advise anybody that's interested in doing a Ghostface costume this year or any year, pick this up at Spirit. It's not expensive. I think it was like $15. And you're not going to get shot over it. You're not going to hurt anybody with it. It's amazing. It looks great in pictures. It's light, so you can carry it around all night and not feel encumbered by it. So that's...
Yeah. Ghostface in the Scream series, they just have so much memorabilia, so many different things, unlike anybody else. Freddy has his glove and he has his mask, and that's about it. Yeah, you can get the clothes, but you can't really... Yeah. Michael has his mask, that's it. Jason has his mask. That's it. Ghostface has the mask, has the cloaks, has the figurines, has the knife, has so much iconic stuff. I mean, Freddy's got the glove, but you can't just go and get a Freddy glove and it'd be good. You can't go to Walmart and get an actual Freddy glove as an actual. No, you ain't gonna. But you can get an actual knife. You can't. I mean, there's so much more memorabilia. There's so much more trinkets and costumes and shirts that look good.
Yeah.
That no other slasher has.
Yeah. And it's fun. I'm not gonna lie. Every time... God, people are gonna think I'm crazy. Every time I put on the cloak, it's just fun. You know, whether I'm walking around the
you can embody it easier because anybody...
So, I can't really dress up as Michael or Jason. You know, I'm just not built for that. Like, I don't care how good my costume is. Nobody's gonna believe that I'm one of those behemoths. But anybody, male, female, doesn't matter. That's the best thing about...
We've been over that.
That's the best thing about Ghostface, is like, it's just a big flowy cloak.
Now, spoiler warning, if you have not seen...
This is your spoiler alert!
Yeah, if you have not seen the Scream movies, or all of them, or whatever, here's a spoiler warning. If you don't mind, cool. But we are going to go into more details on the killers individually, our favorites, and some theories we have for the upcoming Scream, and what... You know, some little fan theories, you know. So, ta-da! Big old spoiler warning right here. Flash, flash, flash.
Boop, boop, boop. Spoiler, 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 spoiler. Alright, I'm not going to go in order of my favorite Ghostface to least favorite Ghostface, because I'd have to think too much on that, so I'm just going to go by movie and just kind of rank where I like them. So do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I'll go first this time.
Okay.
So, we're going to start with the first movie. You had Billy Loomis and Stu Macher, and those were your two killers. Stu being the more kind of silly one. You know, he says, oh, it's peer pressure or whatever. And he got his head smashed with a TV. Billy being the mastermind of it. A little bit more aggressive. And even in the movies, you know, he was the #1 pick from the very start. Hey, it was Billy because he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, but it was all planned. You know, he gets arrested. And he's got his fingerprints and everything. And while he's arrested, Ghostface is still doing it. So it's like, oh, well, it couldn't be Billy because he's just weird, I guess. Why, there's two. There's always a fall guy. Out of those two, though Billy was good, and we'll get more into this. This is just my personal theory of, you know, I think all of these movies could have been avoided. Maureen Prescott is the real villain. If she wouldn't have cheated with Billy's dad and had their mom split up and all that junk, if none of that would have ever happened, none of this would have ever happened. Maureen Prescott is the true villain. She's the one that caused all of this to spiral. But out of those two, Ghostface. For me, I do like Billy a little bit more than Stu. I like Stu's personality. He's a little crazier, but that's Matthew Lillard. And there's no proof that Stu's dead. There's, for the most part, we think he's dead. I mean, you get electrocuted by a TV, but I still like Stu. Very intimidating, very...
You like Billy, man.
Billy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Billy. He's got a good motive. Very classic motive of just revenge and, you know... Now, why he went after the daughter, I'm not real sure there, but because he's like, oh, your mom did this, your mom did that, so I'm going to kill you. Okay, sure. Yeah, what about you?
Oh, I was going to let you go through all the movies, and then I'll go take my turn.
Oh, I was just going to...
Oh, back and forth per movie to movie?
Second movie.
Well, I want to go...
Or we can both do first movie.
Yeah, we'll do each movie. Okay, so Billy and Stu for me. I like Billy. I think I personally connect with Billy as a character more. I can be silly, a la Stu, but when I'm mad, I'm very, very Billy. Very intense, very... I'm not a big dude, but I've had dudes bigger than me, like, when I'm mad, just not want to mess with me. I understand, you know, you asked why the daughter. I was like, you fucked up my family, I'm fucking up her family.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why the daughter. And he already took out Maureen. So
he did kill Maureen. That's what I was saying. He killed Maureen to stop there, but
no, because he's done lost it. But a great starting place, and I'd put them up to the top. I'm not gonna give them a number because I'm gonna lose track. I'm bad at numbers, but I put them up at the top for sure. They're definitely up there as some of my favorites for sure.
They're originals.
I like, and I'm with you. I like Billy a little bit more than Stu. Stu is somebody who wouldn't have done it if it wasn't for Billy, but Billy was going to do it regardless.
Yeah.
I have a theory that actually Stu is in love with Billy, and there's some homoerotic tension between them. It's one-sided. It's definitely Stu for Billy, not Billy for Stu. I think the way he interacts with him, playing with his earlobe, hanging on him.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, that's a little bit.
But yeah, I think that's another thing. Like he's struggling with that. Like he wasn't playing with his ear; he was playing with Jamie Kennedy. I think he has that.
There's some stuff going on there.
I think there's something going on.
But he's loony.
And that's one of the reasons why he's exhibiting this violent behavior is because he's struggling with his own identity and whatnot. So I think that'd be an interesting, side tangent. If you wanted to make, that's a great way to make a gay character in a show or a movie without promoting, like, just it works. It would fit into the story. I think it's interesting. So, but yeah, so they're up there. All right, moving on to 2.
So the second movie we had Nancy Loomis, which was Billy's mom, and was it Mickey Rourke?
Mickey Altieri. Mickey Rourke is an actor.
I keep thinking Rourke. So.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, so we had Nancy Loomis and Mickey. Nancy, obviously, which they just called her Mrs. Loomis for the majority of the film. I think in the entire film, actually. I don't even know if
they don't call her Nancy. That is revealed by
that's
the
in the credits.
Yeah, or something like
that. So anyway, I'll just say Mrs. Loomis.
Nancy. I said Nancy because I'm a smartass.
Yeah. Wes Craven has a thing about Nancy's because, Nancy was the lead girl in Nightmare on Elm Street, too. But,
it's a good name.
Yeah. But Mrs. Loomis, very good, clear motive. It's, we mentioned earlier how it kind of flips the Friday the 13th thing where
that's where we get
the kid died, and so she goes on a killing spree, where this one, the killer was the kid from the start, but then she's just like, oh, you killed my boy.
Yeah, the original Friday the 13th, it was the mother who was the killer and then the kid. But in Scream, it's the kid that was the killer and then the mother. And I like that.
They flipped, and you could tell what they was doing. But Nancy, she only had, what, 2 kills?
She had 1 kill.
1 kill.
No, 2. She killed Randy, and she only did it because he was shit-talking her son, and she lost her cool. And then No, I don't think she was the one that put the bullet in the boyfriend. No, she had 1 kill. 1 kill. She killed Randy.
Yeah, Mickey shot him because he was pinned
so
up there.
So yeah, she only had 1 kill, and it was only because she lost her cool. She had never planned to kill anybody.
Yeah.
I don't even think she wore the Ghostface outfit except for the moment when she killed Randy. Her plan was to have Mickey do all the work.
And
Mickey was already a serial killer before that point, or at least had serial killer tendencies.
Yeah, they got.
She gave him.
She literally, because she even mentioned it's so easy to find. You can look up and people who just are naturally just psychotic serial killers or like killing, and she literally found him online and said, "This is what I'm doing."
And he's good because like one of my
you
favorites.
You could see the crazy from the very beginning of the movie.
Actually, no, I contest that he was good at hiding it because one of my favorite scenes is when the boyfriend starts singing in the cafeteria, and Mickey, who's supposed to be like his best friend, is just singing with him and encouraging him, and they look like they're genuinely having fun, and the vibes they have is like they're genuine best friends, and you feel that, and I'm like, so when he was revealed, I was like, man, this is the dude that was singing with the dude in the cafeteria. I had no idea. Like that's what's crazy,
But that is a common Ghostface thing, is they kill the people that they're closest to. They act like they're your best friend, they're your lover, or whatever, and then they go, okay, time to die. You're in my way now.
So, as far as ranking them...
You can never trust them.
Mickey's somewhere in the middle for me. It's kind of that issue I have.
I don't rank them. I like them all equally in their own way, so I don't have any rankings for them.
This will be my gimmick then.
Yeah.
Mickey's somewhere in the middle. I have the same problem with him of like he's just crazy for the sake of being crazy, but he's got a little more personality than a blank slate like Michael. And Nancy, while I understand her motives, at the same time, I'm not the type of person who's like, if your child is a piece of shit, as a parent, you need to acknowledge that your child's a piece of shit. I'm sorry.
And again, it all ties back.
It's like
to Maureen Prescott.
It's like
everything up.
It's like the parents that get mad when their criminal kid gets killed by the cops, and they're like, "They're my baby." You're like, no, your kid was a fucking criminal.
Yeah. So third movie.
So hang on, her ranking is a little bit lower. She barely counts as a Ghostface in my eyes. So, all right, third movie.
Just because you have the costume on.
I have a lot to say about the third movie, so let you get it out, and then I need to have this small tangent. So get your thoughts.
He
out.
says small tangent, but it's going to be half the damn video.
This is a podcast. Get your thoughts out.
Yeah. Want to make a part 1, part 2, part the other. Okay, so third movie. I'll make mine quick. I really do like the third movie. Out of the 6 movies, it is probably on the bottom. However, that is just based off overall plot of of all 6 movies put together. As a standalone movie, is knowing what you know, 3 is really good. As we discussed earlier, it's the only one that has one Ghostface, even though technically you're supposed to have 2. It only has one Ghostface. It has it's her half brother that just came out of left field. Like even in the movie, she's like, "Huh? Who are you? You're the director of this movie because it took place in Hollywood." And she's just like, I didn't even know I had a brother. She didn't even know. Like, no one knew who this guy was. He was just completely out of nowhere. And he's giving his motivation, and even in the whole thing, she's just sitting there going, "What?"
They never interact throughout the entire movie until he takes his mask off.
Yeah, like it was just so random, and that kind of brings it out for me. But as just a Ghostface, it's like, oh shit, this guy, he put in some work, and again, discussed earlier, the most technologically advanced voice changer. You can find a lot of the Ghostface voice changers throughout. Later on you have the ones in the mask. You can get those. You have the handheld ones. You can get those. They're not as accurate, but this one had a little round device that could mimic anybody's voice.
Before
spot
AI
on.
was ever a thing.
And to this day, it still does not exist. Phenomenal. I love that version. I just wish it was real. But actually, no, I don't, because...
You're going to say something, aren't you?
Okay, so before he gets into this, I just, there was a bit of a cut.
It's funny.
Right as he started to start his tangent, the camera shuts off. It just goes,
nope.
You can't have a tangent. But nevertheless...
Okay, tangent. So, he was never supposed to be the original Ghostface. He's not that... his motivations are petty. He's taking all the credit away from Billy and Stu because he's claiming that he taught them and guided them on their quest. But my biggest problem with Roman Bridger is that when I started, several years ago to get into the Scream franchise, nobody fucking liked Scream 3. Roman Bridger was everybody's least favorite, and we were on the same page with that. Now, I don't know what the fuck is going. He's having a complete resurgence. The amount of fucking Roman Bridger apologists out there and defenders for him, women that are like, he's so hot and dreamy. No, he's very basic looking white dude.
Yeah.
And people are like, his combat skills are crazy. What? What is wrong with you people? 3 years ago, we hated Scream 3 and Roman Bridger. Where the fuck are you people coming from? No, it doesn't make sense. He'd have to teleport to do half the shit he does in the movie. His motivation is petty. His fucking ability as a Ghostface is laughable at best. His voice changer makes no sense.
But you have to admit, it's really cool.
It's cool. He and Sydney don't interact until the very end. How is she supposed to fucking know who she is? He doesn't give a shit about this dude. No. Fuck Roman Bridger. I'm just fuck Roman Bridger. He's the worst fucking Ghostface. Stop defending him. Stop apologizing for him. For fuck's sake, there's a Facebook page literally dedicated to just him. Y'all are nuts. No. 6 movies, all these different Ghostfaces, and there are motherfuckers out there where he's your favorite, bottom of the list. Shit tier. Fuck all y'all. Fuck Roman Bridger. Worst Ghostface.
I might cut part of this. Okay. 4. Now we're starting to get back into the good. So 1, yay. 2, 3, 4, hey. 4. Now we have almost said Jill Valentine. That's Resident Evil.
Jill Roberts.
Jill Roberts.
And Charlie Walker.
Yes, he knows the names. I just... Now, with them two, Jill was her cousin. And basically, it was very simple. She wanted the limelight. She wanted to be the popular one. The survivor. You know, Sydney had the limelight for the longest. Even though Sydney didn't choose it, you know, she had some, you know, fame. And Jill wanted the fame. This was the first time that, like, cameras were introduced and web series and stuff like that, where it was, you know, there was one where it's live.
So,
which was a very interesting take. I kind of liked it because, again, they're staying with the times and they're keeping things modern. And I really like that. Jill, though her motivation was whack, was still understandable for who she was. And she was extremely smart. Like, the way she planned out everything was phenomenal. The way she, even though she didn't really do many kills, she had everything planned out. She had everything lined up. How she wanted to do it, when she wanted to do it, who her fall guy was, and everything. And then said, hey, and the balls this woman had to beat the shit out of herself just to make it realistic. And it wasn't just like, oh, a few sweat. Like, she put herself in the hospital just to prove a point. Damn! Jill Roberts had, probably one of the most ballsiest Ghostface out there, I think. That being said, Charlie, which is, I'll let him, that's his heartthrob. I do agree. I feel bad for him. You know, all he wanted to do is, you know, he wanted be the first nerd to get the girl, and she just straight up killed him. The girl he did this all for killed him, and you could see right there in his eyes were just like, what the fuck? You did what? And that was it. He did the majority of the work. He did a majority of the kills.
All of the work.
Yeah.
All of the work.
Well, I don't want to say all the work because she did mental work. He didn't do it. He did the physical part.
Yeah.
She did the mental part. You had mastermind and accomplice, and they, as usual, the accomplice gets screwed. But yeah, so Jill, I love her as a killer, as a Ghostface. I don't really think she was much of a Ghostface, but definitely a mastermind. Charlie was the Ghostface, I believe, when it comes to actual.
I mean, she actually wore the outfit.
She wore the outfit and everything, but she definitely got the idea of Ghostface, flipped it on its lid, and said, "Now here's what we're gonna do," and it worked. Your turn.
Okay, so Jill goes up at the top for me. There's a lot of hate for Jill.
Understandably.
And I hate Jill, but for a different reason. I hate Jill in the fact that I love Jill. Because I feel like Jill, that subject I talked about, manipulative women. Jill is my...
We're not going to get political, and we're not going to do any sexist hate crap here. We're just going to...
Jill is my ex-girlfriend, or ex-fiance, you know who.
Yeah.
As a Ghostface character. Let me.
Yeah.
Okay. Manipulating somebody who loves her and just wants to make her happy. Going to the extent of hurting herself to try to frame somebody. My ex did that. She's the first. She has an accolade. The first Ghostface to kill off another Ghostface. Again, balls. Very, very manipulative, very conniving, an absolute mastermind.
Overall, bitch.
Yeah, she is a woman. We're two very different personality types, but, you know, it is what it is.
He doesn't really care for the female persuasion, and I don't really care for the male persuasion.
Which it
works. It works.
Careful how you say that, though. I am engaged to a woman. I am about to have a child. Okay.
Our perspectives on life and on different people are opposites.
Yes. Anyway, we don't need... This isn't about us.
But it works.
So, Charlie. I fucking love Charlie. The Ghostface with the second most amount of kills. Absolutely brutal. I understand his motive. It's not. I understand the motive. I don't agree with the ends. But all he wanted to do was show this woman he was willing to throw himself on the line to do it. It wasn't going to work out. We all know it wasn't going to work out, but he loved her. He just wanted to give her what she wanted. His heart was broken, absolutely broken, when she did him in.
And he literally died for the cause.
Feel that. That's the hurt in his eyes. The actor of, I believe it's Rory Culkin, one of the Culkin brothers, you could see the pain in his eyes. He was devastated. He couldn't believe she did that. So, yeah, it's, he's my favorite. He's my favorite. I resonate with that, you know. I get it. You know, it's not the most complex or complicated motive. It's very simple, but it works. I think we all, as dudes, have had a moment where we tried to do something for a woman we loved and it backfired in our faces. I get that. So, up there at the top for me. He's my favorite, for sure. For sure. So, you can laugh at me if you want. That's fine. I don't care. Alright, 5.
So yeah, now we're getting to the reboot / not really a reboot.
It's not a reboot, it's a requel.
A requel. Well, there's so many different terminologies. The Legacy series.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was technically called Scream 5, and then they ended up just changing it to Scream.
As commentary on what other brands had done.
Because they was going to have the 5 as the S, and then it was just going to be called 5 Cream, and there was just...
5 Cream.
Yeah. So yeah, they just said, hey, we're just going to have Scream, Scream 2, Scream 3, Scream 4, Scream 6.
Again, this movie was influenced by the Halloween reboot that came out recently, which also called itself Halloween. A lot of the commentary on this, not this one, but Scream 5 was specifically aimed towards that Halloween reboot series.
Yeah. But this Scream movie, it brought in your legacy characters from Woodsboro, killed off fucking...
A good bit of them.
It could. I mean, yeah. It killed off the Dewey. Yeah, that was one of those. Like, I knew it was going to happen once he was introduced in that movie. I knew, like, yeah, he's going to die.
Mm.
But
heartbreaking scene. Some contention over it though. Yeah. Apparently, it was Amber that did it, but I don't know how 5'2", 100-pound Amber lifted.
I don't know. She got her face. She got caught on fire and blasted, and she still kept going. She's pretty damn strong.
Probably 200-pound David Arquette with gear on in the air, but sure. Richie Kirsch is believable because Jack Quaid's like 6 foot something, 200 also pounds, but it doesn't line up. It does not line. One of the best things about the Scream movie, side tangent, is that we're never confirmed who kills who. You just kind of got to put the pieces together.
Yeah.
But the pieces lead to Amber, not to Richie being the one that killed Dewey, and.
I don't know, rage strength, I guess.
I guess. She was crazy. She was crazy.
She was legitimately crazy. Amber
but she was fun crazy, not scary real crazy. Like, Jill Valentine is, somebody like Jill or not Jill Valentine.
Yeah, everybody knows a Jill.
Everybody knows a Jill Roberts. But Amber's more fantastical crazy.
So 5 did something weird where it had nothing to do with the Prescott story. They had new characters. They had new
Carpenter sisters.
The Carpenter sisters, and then you had the Core 4 and all that. Where Sam is Billy's daughter, which was very out left field. But it's like, who did he screw? Who did he screw to have this?
He was a heartthrob in high school. He screwed. Anybody who
I guess I don't know. I'm curious who the mother is.
Somebody like him was dedicated to just Sydney? No.
Yeah, no. I don't know. That's the part. I'm like, who's the mother? There's a theory, but I can't remember who it is.
I think she says it, but I can't remember right now. And it doesn't. And honestly, it doesn't matter.
I think it's one of the girls in the video store from the first movie when he was over there flirting, looking at horror movies. But so yeah, Richie being the mastermind of this one. Literally just out of nowhere, he just wanted to recreate the movies.
Because he was disappointed in the direction that the stab movies
because this is when it started talking about how the stab movies were getting ridiculous. And so he's like, I want to...
We got lost. Camera shut.
Yeah, camera shut. It's on a timer.
We're fine. So yeah, Richie You know, he was talking about, you know, he wasn't the smartest, right?
Yeah, he wasn't the smartest character. Like his,
he was blinded by his fandom. You know, he was so.
He didn't really plan anything. Mm-hmm. He just kind of went on a whim.
I think he was a very impulsive
to
be an impulsive character.
And then Amber just said, "Okay, whatever you want. I just want to kill."
Amber was crazy bitch. That's all.
I wouldn't say she was Mickey crazy, but she was getting pretty close.
She was worse than Mickey, I think.
You think she was worse?
Mickey was a calculated killer. She was just anger, raw fury. Just get it. She was. You can tell if you watch back the movie. She's barely self-contained the whole movie. She is on the edge the entire time, just waiting to snap.
But like he had, where the first 4 movies was all about Sydney and all that junk that happened with her and her mom and stuff. This one had nothing to do with Sydney. Richie could care less about Sydney.
He was targeting Sam because she was Billy's daughter.
Yeah. So it flipped it on the lid, but they still
incorporated it. You know, it wasn't a reboot.
It wasn't a reboot. It was a continuation, but it was a.
There are characters from the original Scream series and Scream 4 that show up. One of their friends is the son of the sheriff who was the deputy in 4. So
Hicks,
deputy then Sheriff Hicks, yes.
Judy Hicks.
Judy Hicks, that's the name. So, but yeah, no.
Which both of them got killed off.
Mm-hmm.
He got killed off, and then when she came home, because she knew what was happening.
He got killed off after her, actually.
Was it?
Yeah, no, because she was rushing.
Oh yeah. She thought he was fixing to get killed. Ghostface killed her and then went in and killed him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
he's the one that got the neck. No.
Yeah.
Good times.
But yeah, 5 was.
Whew. So where do we rank them?
Yeah.
I'm in agreement with you. I think they're right. You know, they're. You described them perfectly. I don't have any notes. They're somewhere in the middle.
5.
I put Richie up a little higher than Amber because of his dedication. He might not have been as smart, but he was so focused on.
Yeah, I think Richie was, as a Ghostface.
He was smarter than her.
You know, she just an impulse. I think as Ghostface, when you think of Ghostface, you think of a calculated killer who's got all this stuff planned out and who's very sneaky and sleuthy about things.
He barely held it together the whole movie, both of them.
Yeah, like I think as killers, I'm.
When they're revealed, you're kind of like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it is the boyfriend in the first one. This is a requel, and it's the boyfriend again, and it was.
He even says something about that when he reveals himself.
Yeah, like it was mildly predictable, but still highly enjoyable. I kind of put him mid-low.
You know, I have to say too.
Just because his motivation was. Honestly, in my personal opinion, it was just kind of weird.
I think the casting is great too because at the same time that he played this role, Jack Quaid was also in The Boys as the main character, good guy.
Yeah.
So it's like they're complete opposites of each other.
Yeah. Jack Quaid as an actor, phenomenal. He's really good at playing that
lovable goofball.
The lovable nerdy goofball, yeah. And so with Scream 5, it kind of is like again played off, and it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's the only.
Which they did the same thing in 4.
That's the only thing that threw you off is like, really, it's Jack Quaid, but at the same time you're like, no, as his character, yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense. It was obvious from the very beginning.
All right,
but they kind of tried to force it out.
6 is one of my favorites.
6
is one of my favorites.
This is where it got the whole Scream series and said, okay, this is what y'all done. This is what we're going to do. It did similar to Scream 2.
It tied everything together. It made connections to 4. It made connections to... It literally,
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
It connected itself.
Which is why it was the perfect ending.
I loved Scream 6. And anybody who doesn't like Scream 6 just doesn't fucking get it. I love Scream 6. Watch me be the toxic fandom. No, yeah. It's great. It's a great movie.
Yeah. So 6, it tied everything together. It was a great conclusion movie.
I think we should stop at 6.
I think we should stop at 6.
7.
7 makes me nervous just because I feel it's forced. But that being said, you think of how all the other Ghostface were. You had Billy and Stu, and then you had and then they got killed, and then Mrs. Loomis and Mickey. Then it came back. 6 did something where they had 3 killers. which one being the cop.
Okay.
Very easy.
Which is, he's the one that got the people in the bodega.
Yeah.
So that's why he was so tactical about it and why he used the shotgun. It's also how they were able to get every single mask. Because you got to think that all those masks are going to be in some sort of evidence lockup. As a cop, he was able to get it.
They had to go, because this all took place in New York. He had to go all the way to California to get this.
He can do that. You know, if he comes from New York and says, we're investigating something, I need this evidence, there is a transfer.
Yeah. I'm just curious. I want to know more about that backstory there on how he got all
but
this stuff.
the idea,
but it's really, Richie got all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Richie got all that. How did he get it?
I'm the kid of a cop.
I guess. I don't know. I want to know more about that. But
maybe he got it for Richie.
But still,
he got it for Richie, probably. As a cop, he got it for Richie.
But still, you got the cop, you got 2 of his kids, and then Richie was his son, so he had 3 kids, and then 1 got killed off. It was very similar to how 1 and 2 played off in the originals. This is 5 and 6, which is the requel of 1 and 2. Kids get killed off, parents take revenge. Same as the first one.
I also have
one.
I also have a feeling, I think Ethan was his stepson.
Might have been. But still, Ethan, so here's the one, this is the one that gets me.
So, here's the names though. It's Wayne Bailey is the father, Quinn Bailey is the sister, Ethan Landry is the younger brother, and Richie Kirsch is the older brother. There's a lot of different last names going on with that.
Yeah, there's only
I don't. What is this? What is this family lineage?
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's a little bit of some loose ends there, but that's fine. Out of those 3 Ghostface, the only one out of every Ghostface in the series except for 3, well, maybe even 3, I don't know. Quinn was the only Ghostface that was never suspected. Even once. Even Roman was suspected at one point before they knew who he actually was. And they suspected him, as the director, duh.
Well,
but Quinn, she died early on in the movie, and so it was never even a thought.
And they both faked their deaths, but Quinn did it much better.
Quinn did it much better, but still, even though they both faked their deaths, Roman had suspicious on him. No one, even for a moment, suspected Quinn. Not even for a second. Like when Quinn was revealed as a killer, they're like, "But you died."
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
So, and she was part of the friend group too.
Yeah, Ethan was suspected very early on and tried to play it off, and it was just like,
so I have a thought.
The cop again never really suspected, but we as fans knew it. Yeah. Even the fans didn't think Quinn was.
Yeah, yeah.
That was a really good twist.
I'm kind of secretly an Ethan stan. Now, hear me out. I know Wayne did the bodega kill. Wayne is really cool too.
Having the cop being the killer is just...
Ethan is a beast. This dude took a knife to the
throat.
To the throat.
And then have it twisted?
And still kept fucking going.
I want to know how he screamed afterwards.
His vocal cords weren't turned. Probably hurt though. Probably hurt.
Because after he goes, ah! It was like, gerbily.
Dude, Ethan literally watched his sister kill someone and didn't even bat an eye.
Smiled the whole time.
No, he didn't smile. I'm talking about on the train.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, he was like, he didn't break character. He was like, oh no, like, he knew what was happening, he knew, and he led her to it. Like, Ethan's kind of cool. Like, I think Ethan surprised me more than Quinn. Because he just plays it off.
Yeah, no, Quinn as a ghost.
You didn't suspect Quinn because she died.
Very early on.
But you didn't suspect Ethan because even when he's on the train, he actually goes out of his way to try to save the person his sister just stabbed.
They did really good on trying to cover the tracks and being sneaky.
The only one who you had any real suspicion of was the detective. Actually, no. I personally thought it was going to be Hayden Panettiere's character. I can't remember her name right now. The one from 4. Kirby, yeah. I thought it was going to be Kirby. When she locked the door...
They tried to play it off that way,
When they locked the door to the shrine, I thought it was her. I really did think it was going to be Kirby.
Maybe she snapped after the 4th one.
Yeah. But, and they're leading up to it the whole time. Really good at red herring settings, like, hey, she's not with the FBI anymore, type sort of stuff. But, no, that was Detective Bailey setting that up. No, I think these are really good. I understand the motives. The idea of a parent justifying the not coming to terms with the fact that their child was a piece of shit and defending them. You know, you see it all the time. You know, somebody is a criminal, they get killed by the cops due to their own actions, and their family goes on the news and said he was a good boy, they shouldn't have killed him, blah 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 blah, with his face on their t-shirts. You know, like he's going to be blinded by his love for his son and do this. I think I love the motivations. I love all of them. 3 Ghostface is awesome. Double knife swipe, stabbed in throat. Love it all. I think these are some really good up there. Ghostface.
And then of course, technically speaking,
one more, or no, two more.
There was
There's 3 more Ghostface in 6. So there's Jason and I can't remember his friend's name.
Greg.
They
never showed Ghostface Greg, but you know it was implemented that he was part of it. Jason, very early on, which just proves that anybody can be Jason because just some random
anybody can be Ghostface. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, he dressed up as Ghostface just to kill his movie teacher. And
he first killed the movie. First legitimate kill of the movie. He legitimately.
And it wasn't even one of the actual main Ghostface.
She died. He was so yeah. They count as Ghostface. And I'm gonna do an honorary third. The first ever good Ghostface.
Yeah. Sam Carpenter technically was a Ghostface. Mm-hmm. She put on the costume,
hunted someone down, and killed him.
Yeah.
So she's
technically good, but she battled her insanity. It was there.
She's an anti-hero. And me, personally, I am a sucker for anti-heroes. I love Sam Carpenter. I don't think she was going to do bad things with it. You know, I feel like the idea of I can use this to stop the other Ghostface or the next person who does this, but you know, she wound up putting it down. But yeah, no, Scream 6. I think we're both in accordance that 5 and 6 are definitely some of our favorites. They're good follow-ups. They're really good.
They had some of the bloodiest, most gruesome
that ladder kill?
Kills and injuries.
That ladder kill? Oh my god. When that girl, he knocked her off the... Yeah. Very creative Ghostface in 6, too. A lot of very creative kills. Mm-hmm. Conclusion?
Yeah. We like Scream.
Scream's fucking awesome, guys. Like, seriously.
To put it simply, we really like Scream. Not because, and it's not necessarily, it's not really an obsession over the Ghostface character. Like, because anybody can be it.
We're not gonna be Ghostface, no.
But just when you think about
when
you think about a horror movie, specifically slashers, out of all the different slashers out there, you know, especially ones who have multiple movies, like you said, they stay consistent. They keep the storyline in check.
There's no alternate timelines
or weirdness that they always space. Either
Chucky's gotten out of control. Freddy Krueger is up and down. The Halloween series is all over the place. The less we say about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series, the better. It's just
this one stays consistent, and the fact that they literally spent almost 30, 40 years, 30 years?
They take their time. They don't rush anything.
Yeah, except for 7. 7's being weird. I feel like.
Yeah.
So we won't go into detail about 7 because we don't know anything about it yet.
Oh shit, we might have to jump around because we forgot this one last thing.
What?
Because we jumped straight to conclusion. There's one last thing.
Oh, the theories. Yeah. So before we do that, one last thing. I agree with it, but this is more his theory. A lot of people's theory. Continue.
So, he doesn't want me to do these crazy long tangents, but I'm trying to sum it. I have this fan theory. I'm sure there's other people that thought about it. This I've kind of sculpted in my own head. Again, I'm new to the series. That Gail's behind it all the time, the whole way through. That before even Roman, she manipulated things because Gail was struggling as a reporter. Okay, she was not getting the recognition she needed. By initiating the events of the first Scream, she was the first on scene. She jumped on that, and then she clung to it.
She wrote the book on Marine.
Mm-hmm. She wrote the book on Marine, which got that to go on, and then she wrote the book on the Woodsboro Killers, and she keeps showing up. Think about the fact that in 6, even when Sydney goes, "No, I'm not showing up," she showed up. She's in every single Scream. Every single one. Over the main girl. She's in every single
when
Scream.
she wrote the books that ended up becoming the Stab movies.
So money
she knew details about conversations that, as far as we knew as the audience, there was no way she knew about some of this dialogue. Like, there was a private conversation in the first movie between Sydney and Billy in the school, and she knew the exact details of that conversation.
And she survives every encounter. She
might be a plot hole, but still.
You know, even like little things, like how suspicious it is how she barely reacted to her black boyfriend getting killed. How when Dewey started to fall back in love with her and started to push again, all of a sudden he dies. Like, everything, she could manipulate every single one of these events to get
and we knew she was manipulative.
Oh yeah, she always was.
She always was, because it was always about getting that next scoop.
Kind of was a secondary antagonist in the first couple of films. So, like,
when things got suspicious, that's when she's like, oh...
I really just want to see the mask come off at some point to wrap this whole series up, and it's Gale. It's not because I hate Courtney Cox or Gale the character. I just think it'd be like, give us something that you just wouldn't believe. Like, holy shit, wow, that's a wow factor for me. So
like, you see that, you have to know the first 6 movies.
You're like, oh,
like if they did that with 7,
that would save 7. That would save 6. I think anything other than that just won't do it for me. I'm scared. I'm so scared. But yeah, conclusion. Back to the conclusion. These movies are great. You know, if you haven't seen these movies, please watch them.
They're not fantastical. They're not monsters. Jason's a zombie. Michael's just psychotic. Again, these Ghostface, they can die. Michael, it took him forever to kill him. He got blasted in the face, burned up, and everything, and he's still fine. These guys, no, they get killed off. Every movie, the Ghostface gets killed, and it's a new one.
It's refreshing. It's new.
And you don't really feel like the hero actually wins.
No. They have to carry that.
They survived, but they didn't win.
Yeah, no. Really good movies. Really, really good movies. We've got
they do twist endings and red herrings like no other series.
Really well written, consistent. Just yeah.
And it has a little bit of fan appeasement, but in the right way. You know, whenever something happens in the movie, you go, they're covering a topic that I think about. They actually implemented, hey, things are getting weird. Let's dial it back. Oh, movies are the problem. Well, let's they tackle real world situations, put it into the movie, and go, here you go. But not in a cringy way. They give you something to buy. Again, because anyone can be Ghostface, you have memorabilia. You have the freedom to make fan films and it work. Because anybody can make a Ghostface fan film, and it's not like, oh shit, it goes, hey, this is just another Ghostface. I mean, really, any fan film could become canon. Any of them.
Oh yeah.
Even there's one that, there's a YouTube guy that I watch. I forget it's Radical something, but you can look it up. It's Ghostface versus Jeff the Killer. Jeff the Killer being a creepypasta, I think, but...
Way to age yourself, though. Holy crap.
Yeah, but still, it worked. It freaking worked. They did great. The fight skills, if you haven't seen it, just look up Ghostface versus Jeff the Killer. It's really good. They have some other stuff in there. It's a little bit more cheesy, and they have some of the...
Do you remember the video game where you get where you chase somebody as Ghostface, and then all of a sudden Chucky kills you for no reason? We watched that video on YouTube.
I don't remember that.
He's got bad memory.
I do. I have awful memory. But another thing, Dead by Daylight, asymmetrical game. I like it. He don't really like it, but he likes the lore.
I like the lore.
It still plays off the thing that basically anybody can be Ghostface, and you can play as Ghostface. Now, there's been a lot of games for horror movies. This is one of the rare games that there technically is.
There's no official game.
There's no official game, so and there's so many people waiting for that. They just recently put Ghostface in Mortal Kombat. We're still waiting to see how that's going to play out.
I want a single-player game in the likes of Until Dawn, but with Ghostface.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Dark Pictures. If you happen to see this, because we know you have the creative...
Supermassive is the...
But I thought it was Dark Pictures.
No, Supermassive is the developer. Supermassive Games.
Okay.
Dark Pictures is the name of the anthology.
Okay, well, anyway, Supermassive. Sorry. We know you have the creative ability, and I'm sure...
You can get a hold of the rights.
You can at least borrow the rights to make a story-based Scream game
if anybody can do it, I think they can.
Make it happen.
Make it happen.
Make it happen. So, with that, we leave you, if you want to grab your mask and knife.
We're going to do this, okay.
We're not going to put them on, we're just going to hold them.
Yeah.
I leave you guys with 5 simple words. Say it with me. What?
Pickles? Oh,
No.
sorry.
What's your favorite scary movie?